Hello out there in the community, it's Chris, it's the Mad Respect. Today I'm going to go through some stuff going back to the library. Quick reviews on all of this right now. Alright, we got a movie called Relic. I saw this movie a lot in July and August on the on-demand platform, saying it was one of the best horror of the year. It was just alright. It was kind of this more like an allegory for Alzheimer's. And no real like scary jump scenes even or anything like that. Kind of dull. It's good at like building dread to an extent, but overall it was just kind of okay. Alright, let's get to the comics. We got number one, we got Captain Marvel Volume 1 Re-Entry by Kelly Thompson and Carmen Carnero. Colored by Tamara Bonvillain. This is an all-female creative team here, I believe, unless Carmen's a man, which I find out hard to believe. But this is, I guess, the 6th or 7th volume of her series. I haven't read anything other with Captain Marvel, with Carol, other than this. But it was pretty good. She's been spending time in space, I guess, and now she has to kind of like debrief with the heroes of Earth before she can come back to Earth. And then the whole planet gets waylaid by this nuclear superhero who's very misogynist. And then, so he got Rogue and a bunch of other heroes in the corner of New York, and with his nuclear power blocked off everybody else. So it's all these female heroes versus the nuclear man, who's kind of like Superman, like I hate women, women are inferior to me, that sort of thing. But it was a pretty good start to her run, and I have more volumes which I'll review in my next library reviews video. Sticking with Kelly Thompson and Leonardo Romero. This is Hawkeye Volume 1, Anchor Points. I also have Hawkeye Volume 2, Masks. And Volume 3, Family Reunion. Most of the art is by Leonardo Romero. Leonardo Romero. It's pretty good. It reminds me a lot of the AHA art and the Fraction run of what. Usually, all three of these are her setting up a detective agency in L.A. And she has another run-in with Madame Mask. And the last volume is a reunion with her and Clint Barton Hawkeye. And it's all pretty good. And it also introduces a character that was fairly major in her West Coast Avengers run, so I assume this is set before the West Coast Avengers run. And then we have Doctor Strange Volume 4, The Choice by Mark Waid and Jesus Saez on the art. They've been doing this whole run. It's pretty good. He reunites with the alien from Volume 1, who he kind of spurned as a lover. And then he does a spell to fix his hand so he can do a complicated surgery on a little boy. Makes a bet with a demon and wins. And now his hands work, and I guess the next volume is called Doctor Strange Surgeon Supreme. And then we have the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense Volumes 2 and 3 Omnibus from Dark Horse by Mignola, Arcudi, Guy Davis. I have Volume 4 waiting for me at the library. Looking forward to seeing how this finishes. It's the Plague of Frogs story. It's all been pretty good. And at the end of the latest volume, their new general guy who they had joined the team turned into a big monster of his own and is face to face with a Wendigo looking thing. And then in the afterword it says, "Are you wondering what happened to the general guy? Good." So I'm assuming that's just meant to be vague, but we'll see. I haven't read Volume 4. We'll see how that goes. Next is Cormac McCarthy, The Road, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. This is his book immediately following No Country for Old Men, which I really enjoyed, I read a lot of books if they get a Stephen King recommendation, and No Country did. And I just, for some reason, never got around to The Road, but this was on the top 100 horror novels of all time list for Pace Magazine that I read. I believe it was Pace Magazine. It was a online magazine, 100 best horror novels to read, and this was on it. And for a single father, this was pretty brutal. It's about a single father trying to keep his son alive in post-apocalyptic America when everyone else has lost all their morals and have become cannibals and monsters. And it's basically a cross-country trip on foot to the sea, and it was really, really good, and I would recommend this to anyone. And here we got Venom. This is the Complete Collections by Rick Remender, Volume 1 and 2. First one with the art by Tony Moore. I remember reading the first 6 issues like 7-8 years ago from the library, and I remember enjoying it to some extent, but on the reread, I could barely make it through after the first issues by Moore. There's a bunch of tie-ins with Spider Island that I had no idea what was going on, and then after that, there's more stuff with the Jack-o'-lantern that looked cool, and if it didn't have like a million word captions on every page, it was probably a very interesting story to read, but I'm just not going to get to it. I have to go back today. So unfortunately, I'm going to say a third of this was do not finish, and all of Volume 2 was do not finish, because it was a big, long, crazy story about them going to hell, etc. But then I skimmed through it, and I kind of found out who the new big man, or whoever is Betty's brother and stuff. So as slow as these were for me, and I couldn't finish the next two, when Colin Bunn takes over Devil's Pack and Toxin with a Vengeance, I blew through both of these in about an hour, and it was no less wordy and all, but it was just, I guess for me, it clicked a little more and I could read a little better. This is kind of concludes the Hell storyline that Remender left Bunn, and then the second volume, Toxin, comes back, which is another Eddie Brock symbiote. And it wasn't great, but it was definitely more readable than the Remender run. And then we have Catwoman, Volume 3. We're going to call this Friend or Foe. It's by Joelle Jones and Fernando Blanco, but I'd say a good half of this book is drawn by Joelle Jones. Although I think there might have been a story I might have missed between Volume 2 and Volume 3 here, because it kind of just picks up in the middle of the story where she's already defeated by the mob boss there and has to put herself in the Lazarus pit, and so it's basically just a bunch of reanimated corpses via the Lazarus pit, and her like finishing up her battle with this mob boss in this other town before she gets back in the car and drives back to Gotham. But overall, this Joelle Jones run of Catwoman I've enjoyed for the most part, and I'm looking forward to the Rom V. And last we have Uncanny Avengers. This is volumes 3 through 5 and volume 1 of series 2. Ragnarok Now. This is probably my favorite story of the bunch. Basically, these twins that Kang has kidnapped have taken over, destroyed a celestial in space and taken over all of space, basically. And they have like a time-protected place where they're, and they want the Scarlet Witch to hex all of the mutants onto this space arc so they can take them to another planet and be free of humanity forever. And then towards the end, this other Celestial comes who, if a Celestial dies, is going to destroy whoever did it, and he actually succeeds in destroying the Earth completely, and Captain America gets cut in half by the Grim Reaper, Acolyte, or whatever you call those guys, Horseman. The Horseman, who was a resurrected Grim Reaper, cuts Captain America in half, and that's how this volume ends. So that must have been really trippy when it was coming out monthly. And then the next volume is Avengers The Earth, where Kang and the remaining Avengers it's like a future world of a mutant planet where humans are outlawed, and Kang sends the consciousnesses of the remaining Avengers back to before the Earth was destroyed, etc., etc. Kind of a ripoff of Days of Future Past. And then after they successfully avoid the destruction of Earth and the death of Captain America and all that, Kang double crosses them and tries to take the celestial power for himself. And of course they beat him, and Havoc is disfigured, and Rogue is back to where she can't touch anyone anymore. So it was an okay ending, but the Ragnarok Now is definitely about it. The part before that was really hard to finish. Ragnarok Now read really good and quick, and then this was back to the Acuna art, so it was a little harder to finish. And then this one was Axis Prelude. This is where they kind of gear up to take on the Red Skull for the final time in the Axis storyline, which I read before I read any of this. And so it was just pretty good. Finish up story. And this one is kind of a did not finish. This is Counter Evolutionary. This is by Remender with Dugan and more Daniel Lacuna art. This takes place after the Axis, so I might check out Axis again and recheck this out and see if they read better as a pair. But I flipped through it. It's basically all of the new team of Uncanny Avengers get separated and tortured by other villains before coming together and saving the day. And then at the end, Vision and Scarlet Witch kind of make up, and then it leads directly into Secret Wars. So this volume is probably just, I probably couldn't have read it and I would have been fine. So anyway, that's what I read since the last time I've been on cam. And I'm headed out to the library after this. And also, this is my trip to the local comic shop, LCS, today. So I will report back in the next video with what I picked up there. So everybody out there, take care. 14 days left, and then hopefully things will get a lot better. Not to be political or anything, but hopefully things will get a lot better in another 2 weeks. And stay safe out there, and Happy New Year, Happy 2021, and we'll see you in the next video.